What's what is up, everyone? Welcome to Review This with the Scene Snob. I went out and I got to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 today. I took the Snobbits with me, my two young ones. We had a really good time. I've been anxiously awaiting this movie, not knowing what's going to come of it. I'm trying to avoid all spoilers going in. And then I finally got there. Now, of course, as you guys know, we do live reviews. We're going to do the first half non-spoiler where I talk about it a little bit, aspects I liked and I disliked. Then we're going to give my rating, and then we might get into some spoiler territory, some things that I really like that I don't want to spoil for anybody. Once we get there, I will give you fair warning. You're going to have the ticker on the bottom saying spoilers. So if you don't want to join in or you want to join in later after you watch the movie, please feel free to do so. Chime in on the comments because I'd love to hear what you guys think. Are you going to see this movie? And what are you most forward to seeing in it? Most looking forward to seeing in it? Chris, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining in, pal. I appreciate you as always. And here we go. All right, guys. Just so you know that this is brought to you by one of our affiliate sponsors, Entertainment Earth. If you like the MCU, you like movies, then I think you will love Entertainment Earth. For sure, it is a great place, has a lot of really fun stuff to check out. Go down to Entertainment Earth in the link down below in the description, and you can check out all the cool stuff that they have as well. So I really appreciate you guys joining in, checking it out. That is our our beautiful affiliate, because I buy all my Funko Pops from there, and they got some really cool ones. And I buy other stuff too. So go check it out and let us know what you think down in the link below. Let's get into it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is the fourth in the Guardians of the Galaxy standalones, because I count the holiday special on that. It was a beautiful little piece that James Gunn directed, and it was James Gunn's kind of his swan song, if you will, to leave to go on a greener pastures over in DC, I hope. But I actually really enjoyed stepping in and watching this movie, and I was really looking forward to seeing what he was going to do with it. So James Gunn, to me, I and I will say this, I'm a little biased. He and Ty West were two of our first interviews, mine anyway, when we first got into doing this, got into really like podcasting, I worked for Mario Likes Movies at the time, and we went down to Trauma Dance years ago. I was very fortunate to call Lloyd Kaufman a friend. I'm not name dropping, I promise, but he is very close friends, of course, with James Gunn. He invited James Gunn and Ty West down to Trauma Dance that year to talk. I think it was 2010 or 2011. I can't remember exact year, but it was in Asbury Park, New Jersey. And we had a great time. And it was a lot of fun. And James Gunn is a no-nonsense type of dude. He just tells it like it is. Smart guy. He's very witty and fun. And so every time he has a movie pop up, I get really excited. And since he took over Guardians of the Galaxy and what he's done with this, I don't think it's any exaggeration to say that this is the best in the franchise as far as singular storylines. Guardians of the Galaxy all the way through. I think that is the best told story from beginning to end of one team within the MCU realm. There's not one bad movie in it. Even the holiday special was a lot of fun. It doesn't stand up to the movies, but of course it wasn't meant to. I absolutely loved this movie stepping in. I got into it. It has a lot of heart. The characters are all here. Some different from what we remember. Groot is very different, very grown. And it gets really interesting when they take his character. And then you have, of course, Gamora, who is not the Gamora they know. And they definitely know throughout this movie that she's not the same. But there's like little shimmers that pop up. So seeing Gamora in this and kind of being out of it was really clever to see. Now, I absolutely did. I absolutely love the story of this movie. It was very Rocket centric, which was really fun and crazy to see in terms of story, because Rocket, for the most part, as we know him, was barely in the movie. He gets hurt very early on and is kind of in a coma throughout the entire thing. It's not really a spoiler. I'm not going to give up like what happens, how he gets there and stuff like that, but until the spoiler part. But for this, he is barely in the movie, but you get a lot of glimpses of his flashback, his connection in the High Evolutionary, who was played fantastically. He does such a great job as a villain in this movie. He's one of the worst, most dastardly villains in the MCU by far. But I absolutely everybody except for, and this is where I get into that territory of like it's not the perfect movie. Adam Warlock. Now, Will Poulter, I like him as an actor. I'm glad he's Adam Warlock. And Adam Warlock is going to show a lot of promise going forward when he shows back up in the MCU. Eventually, because they're not going to be done with Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn might be. This team, for the most part, is done. They've said that out in the open, that this team as we know it is not going to be that anymore. But I really like where everybody was sent off to, where everybody went, their choices in the mix of like what they were trying to do. And James Gunn really knows these characters. He wrote them very well. And even seeing some of the changes that he made within his writing from things that were kind of out of his control, meaning what happened in Infinity War, what happened in Endgame with Guardians and their aspect in that whole thing, what happened with since then, and other little changes like in Thor, Love and Thunder. They just do a great job. And he really tied it all together, and he brought back everyone. I love that he has a stock company and he is loyal to them, and he brings everyone back in a beautiful way, in a different way too. So it's just a really good, fun time. But this one, compared to the others, as fun as it is also very dark. It's the darkest of all three movies. And that's saying something, because I watched 1 and 2 just the past couple of days of my youngest, so that way he can get acclimated to it. And it is dark, but those aren't light movies. You deal with a lot of heartbreaking things in those movies. Quill's mother alone, just in the beginning of the first one, that's a sock to the stomach, man. It's pretty crazy. But I really like how they handled this. It got much darker in this, but they handled it with a beautiful levity and really pulling family together, and just utilized everyone so well. This is by far one of the best team up movies. I would even put it up there as far as maybe an Avengers, the first Avengers movie, which I can go into further down the line in another video, but I will say it here. And if you are interested, sound off in the comments or on our Discord, and I'll make a certain video on why. But to me, the Avengers team up in that first Avengers movie is the best team up in terms of how the team works together and building to that. I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll talk about that later. But the Guardians of the Galaxy finally coming together after the 2 movies, knowing they're getting closer and closer, and they are a family, but they still bicker, they still fight. But it is definitely a different feel, different atmosphere now. I love how they incorporate Nowhere. Kraglin is great. He steps up big time in this, and it's beautiful. Everybody, it's just across the board a lot of fun. Now, I want to get to some of the things I didn't really like, but I could see having a lot of potential. Is Adam Warlock. His character was very dull in a lot of ways. They didn't really unleash him. They didn't really give him a whole lot to do. It was kind of one-dimensional, and it's his origin story, really. This truly was his origin story, and I have a very strong feeling it's going to be really good going forward, because Will Poulter's a great actor, and I can't wait to see him in this role more and more. So if they do more Guardians of the Galaxies and he's in it, and he absolutely should be, they can keep this going, and it can be really great. But just in this movie, he didn't have a lot to do. They didn't utilize him well, and I understand why he was in there, and you had to have the payoff from the second one. But they changed some stuff up, and it just didn't really work for me. Kind of how they tied everything together. But it is beautiful. Now, another thing that I didn't really, all right, I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but that's fine. I got to say it. The music choices in this didn't really work for me. And the sound effect design in it, which some people may say, hey, who cares? I do. I can hear it, and it definitely takes me out of the movie. Both movies, and even in the holiday special, I feel like music was utilized perfectly. Every scene where a song was chosen, it worked. It nailed everything they were going for. In this movie, I can say that about 2 songs. 2 songs really worked. Everything else, they're great songs. I'm not taking anything away from the songs, but they utilized 2 songs perfectly in the right area. Everything else just kind of felt a little displaced. Like, I don't know why they chose this song for that. But I will tell you, the 2 songs they used were really good, but they messed up one, in my opinion, and it was with the sound effects. For some reason, the sound effects were higher and more prevalent in the scene than the music was. And it was a beautiful fight scene, choreographed with the villains versus the Guardians of the Galaxy in this hallway scene, and it's very cool. And they used a great song for it, and I don't want to give that away until you guys hear it, but it was too low compared to all the sound effects, and I really felt like you needed to blast the music. Like let's take Star Trek Beyond, which is one I really liked, and they utilized Sabotage really well. Not the same song, I'm telling you, but they utilized Sabotage really well. Now imagine Sabotage almost coming out lower than the sound effects. It just wouldn't have that same push for me, and it didn't in this. And it took me out of it a little bit. I really felt like that scene really needed that song to be pretty hardcore. But they utilized two songs really well. I really enjoyed it. This movie for me, and I'll give my rating for it, is a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 mics. I absolutely enjoyed this movie. I think go see it in theaters this weekend or the next weekend. This is what MCU is supposed to be and how good it is. And I'm not saying that we've gotten flops. I'm not saying we've gotten duds, but we aren't getting movies of this caliber. And that's why I say that this franchise, like this singular team story of the Guardians of the Galaxy, not the whole MCU, they've all been consistently good. And I like the fact that there was one vision, but that doesn't always work. And I think we could see that with Ant-Man Quantumania, which I also liked, but just didn't match up in tone with everything else. And that's why I compare it, because it also came out this year. It was really nice to have something that was a little different, have a villain that's really bad. Like, as much as I liked Kang, you do make him sympathetic in a lot of things. You made, what's his name? Thanos really sympathetic, Loki, the whole nine. And I love that. I love that they do that, and that works. But it was cool to finally have a villain that's like a Ronin, where it's just like, yeah, this guy just needs to get beat. He's just bad news. So overall, that's why it gets the 4 out of 5 mics. Great storytelling, great acting, great action. The songs were good, not top tier. Adam Warlock, I can't wait to see what comes of him. But in this movie, he was more used as a plot device than anything else to kind of get you from point A to point B. Didn't love it, but yeah, that's why it's a 4 out of 5 for me. It takes a couple things kind of struck a point away from that, but I would love to hear what you guys think. I'm not going to get into spoilers for this one. If you guys want me to do a spoiler review, let me know and we can get into it a little bit more, or I can get into it on our show. I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. I want to say thank you guys so much for joining in and checking out this review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Let me check your comments real quick. See who's coming along for the ride. Derpy's here. He's saying he's seeing it tonight. I think you'll enjoy it, man. I'd love to hear what you think. Sound off and let me know. I know you're DC, Derpy, but I think you might like this one. Also, happy Star Wars Day to you, and may the 4th be with you as well. You snobby critic. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. We are hyped for Saturday. Yeah, you guys are really going to enjoy it. Have a good time. Go see it in theaters. Seriously, it is a beautiful movie. There's a lot of very cool stuff that happens in this. A lot of sad stuff, but to bring your tissues, but get in there and have a good time. Thank you guys. Make sure to check out our shows. The Scene Snobs podcast live every Tuesday night, or you can watch or listen any other time. On our Patreon, we have Warp Factor Fiction, which is our Star Trek, our chronological analysis of Star Trek on screen. We have episodes 5 and 6 coming out this month, and we are covering Enterprise Season 3. We have 4 episodes out now. You can go check them out on Podcast Anywhere. You can watch them over on our Patreon. All the links are down below. Make sure to join up on our Discord. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Carolina Fear Fest, if you haven't seen it, we are official reps of Carolina Fear Fest. It's a great time, great festival in Raleigh, North Carolina. Come on down. It's from the 26th to the 28th. If you love horror, you're going to have so much fun, and all the Snobs Nation is going to be there, just having a great time. Derpy says, I'm guessing someone dies. Better not be Howard the Duck. I'm not telling. No, it's definitely Disney's profit. Well, anyway, take care, Derpy. Thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate you guys. I am going to take off now. I hope you enjoyed the movie. Please, again, let me know what you think in the comments, or like I said, head over to the Discord. But until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.